Hello to the Facebook community. Glenn Riebenstorff in Brooklyn, New York. It's early Saturday morning. I had mentioned I would be making a number of videos on different types of subject matters related to the business I do and also related to relationships and on occasion a good word about the Lord Jesus. Today I was thinking a bit about relationships, and I believe I've got good things to share because they're important to me, and the reason I speak is because I believe I have things to say that are of value, that will help those who will listen. I don't have the answers to everything in life, but most certainly, but I've got enough that can help us see things from a better perspective. We're all learning together in this world, and as we learn, we can share what we believe we've learned for the betterment of our lives and the people around us. That's how I look at it. All right, so what I want to speak to you tonight about is building of relationships, and why my view, I believe, is the one that'll work. I'm not saying it's because it's coming from me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the view I hold is an attitude, and the attitude that I hold is something that is missing in our society. What am I talking about? You could go on a search on the internet, and I want to spare you this, but I do so much digging and looking. There's a reason why people don't stick together. Whether it's Hollywood stars and that just can't get it right, and stick with each other, or whether it's in government, problems with corrupt government officials and people cheating on their wives all the time. Amazing. And also within the Christian church, of which I've been a part of, I have seen one divorce after another in all the years that I've been a Christian. And there's always a one underlining theme in the reason why people get divorced or they can't make relationships work. And it starts with one word. That word is neglect. Neglect. Being so busy with so many other things and living in a sea of confusion and in a fog that they don't pay attention and devote time and energy and the effort of love in a consistency of commitment. Now look, I'm saying a mouthful of words here that are true, that most people miss. But don't miss this if you have a good heart and a good ear to hear. Commitment is missing, and consistency in the labor of love. That the partner you have is the most important person in the world, and that there's nobody more important than that person. Nobody more important than that person. Now, there is somebody more important to me than anyone, and that's Jesus Christ. Because without him, I believe I can do nothing in terms of spiritual comprehension, salvation before him, having my sins forgiven by the blood of the cross, and trusting him to produce the knowledge of his presence within me from day to day, and growing in a relationship with him, growing in his grace and knowledge as I keep myself in the love of God. But if you understand me, I don't wear that on my sleeve, if you know what I mean by that. I declare it, I speak it, and I'm very good at talking it because it's God's gift to me. The Spirit of God is very good at doing that through me, and it's something he's helped me with and cultivated through many, many years. But you know something? You could have a relationship with Jesus Christ and have a lousy relationship with your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, And the reason is, many times I've just seen it, they're too busy preaching to each other rather than learning to grow and learn about each other and loving each other and learning about each other and learning to adapt to each other and learning to connect with each other, and learning to have how to negotiate with each other. It's a big problem amongst couples. And you know, I remember the girl. I'll give you an example how this is so rare to have this type of attitude. You know, there's a framework that I come with life with, which is, first, the framework is, there is no other foundation to be laid other than the one already laid, who is Jesus Christ. And from that foundation is a foundation of faithfulness, love, commitment, fidelity, loyalty, honesty, and the labor of love. And that's the foundation. But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because most women have not experienced that with a man. Most women have not experienced that with a man. And I'm going to give you an example. I wrote The Girl I Love about 50 letters this year, all geared on that. Just the necessity of oh, I didn't mention communication too, in the midst of all the rest of it. Love, faithfulness, commitment, communication. Communication, learning how to communicate, and the building of trust is the #1 problem in this country when it comes to relationships. The #1 problem, the building of trust. And there are levels of trust. Trust can grow if you learn to do things right. Trust can diminish. But we want trust to grow, and we want trust to blossom. And learning how to communicate, to speak. There's all types of communication. But if couples don't learn how to communicate and speak, the relationship is not going to be there. It's going to die. You've got to learn to communicate, and communicate properly. And that means a willingness. Now, it's up to me to communicate in such a way. I felt it was necessary to do what I did with the girl I love. Now, I said things in the letters that show my heart and how I look at relationships. What I would want in a relationship with her. What I would be in a relationship with her. How I view relationships. How I think about her. My goals for the future. My plans for the future. What I would love to have with her. In every way, shape, or form. In building a solid relationship with her. And faithfulness, love, and commitment. How I want to get to learn to love her family. Her mother, her father, and all her family members. To learn to become the best in all I put my hand to do, and my heart is there when it comes to her. But the reaction I got, I expected, because it's just the way people are until they grow to know that the person they're with not only is telling the truth, but they get used to it to the point where they can become more comfortable with the idea that there really is such a thing as faithfulness, commitment, love, to cherish somebody, to honor them, respect them, to love them no matter what, regardless of anything and everything. The labor of love is always there, but it is a labor. It isn't just a feeling. Love is not just a feeling, and yet the feelings are there. You know, it's true. The feelings are there, but love is a labor of consistent attitudes. Consistent attitudes, just being the same, consistent. You know, it says of Jesus Christ, for example, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We know we could always go to Him and find the comfort in His presence. He's always going to be the same for us. Well, this is how we need to be toward the girls that we go after. Or the girl, in this sense, the girl. When I say girls, I'm talking about to us men. When we go after somebody, we've got to be consistent. Otherwise, they're going to be confused. Because if we're giving out mixed signals, and if we're confused, if we're confused about the relationship, well, then it's going to make them confused, because you're planting the seeds of confusion, and you're going to reap a harvest of confusion in their life toward you. But if you plant seeds of faithfulness and commitment and love and respect and honor. And as they set boundaries in the relationship, you respect those boundaries until they're ready to, open up to you further. This is how a good relationship is built, based upon a bad relationship, which everybody seems to be having a problem with. But I wrote these letters purposely to plant the seeds. And when I spoke to her in August, I said, the reason why I wrote these letters was to show the importance of communication. And she acknowledged, she understood that. So I was thankful for that. But what I don't believe is just communicating by email and letters. Because what happens is when you communicate by letters, by email, how many times do the wrong things get said or be construed in a way you didn't mean? And if someone is upset at the moment, you say some things you didn't mean, and you're sorry about it later. It happens so often. That's why the best approach is face-to-face. Nothing beats face-to-face. Not just letters. Letters are good if you say the right thing, and certainly not just emails. Face-to-face communication, talking, speaking, doing things together, having a relationship where you're doing things together. Well, the girl who I care about wrote me an email, and I read through everything she was saying. When I say I read it, but I also read through it, and I understood her anger, I understood her frustration, I understood her questions. And she said something very interesting that made me see the truth that I was right about what's going on with relationships. She said, all this garbage you talk, speaking about love and understanding, and she says, and the reason why she said that is because she has never really yet experienced the type of relationship that can cause her to grow in understanding and love. Now, I had said some things that in a sexual way, because I expressed in these letters a lot of things that is my heart's desire in the stages and steps and where I want to be with her in marriage. Now, I expressed my sexual desire for her, but I also made it clear that I wanted this to be in marriage only. But I wanted her to know I think this way, so that there is here's who I am, here's what I'm thinking. But everybody thinks these things, but I want to express it in marriage. And I made perfectly clear in these letters that my first priority is to learn to love her, actually first to reconcile with her, for her to forgive me for any grievance, and when she's ready, that I would start slow and get to know each other again. First become friends. That's the very first truth of any relationship. Become friends first. Get to know somebody, and then you build from there. I don't know how many minutes I've got left on this Facebook video, but I will see you in the next video.